consistency. A podcast recently, we had Tiffany from Titus's team on that. She was talking about one of the things that characteristics she values most in leadership is consistency. And I'm sitting there going, golly, I'm so inconsistent. And I'm glad she doesn't report to me because she would have quit a long time ago. But I'm like, consistency is, if that's a leadership characteristic trait that's attractive to that person, Tiffany in particular. But I'm thinking, how do I grow in consistency when I'm such a passionate, erratic, in the moment, like, let's do it, let's go,
But you're consistently erratic.
That's exactly what she said. She's like, no, you're consistently inconsistent, which is great.
But isn't it more, in my experience, it's not that you're not inconsistent, it's that people kind of start to know what you're going to do and how you're going to respond to things.
Yeah.
And you tend to respond, we all do, we tend to respond in the same way. Your response is just that you get excited and want to, totally do something.
Yeah. And I think employing these facets of our character to our advantage. Okay, I'm going to use that strength and I'm going to manage that strength, but I'm also going to discipline that strength. Mm-hmm. I have this wicked humor thing. I just think so many things are funny and things come in my head. And somebody recently said to me, I made a joke. It was a serious moment, but it's usually the serious moments when I make the jokes, because I'm like, oh, that's really funny, and it'll lighten the mood. And they turned to me, they said, imagine how the conversation would have gone had you not made that joke. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but it really hit hard. And I'm like, golly, that is I really appreciate it. I want to thank them for it, because it's something that I always want to grow in. I want to grow in that, how I come across to other people, and adjusting and adapting. And I'm like, oh gosh, but it was so helpful. I've caught myself so many times in the last few weeks since this person challenged me. And I'm like, I won't say that joke, because it just changes the environment and people don't receive what somebody was saying because I just derailed it.
Yeah.
But so, and it's funny. This would be something that my wife would, for years, been like, can you just come down on these jokes? I know it's funny, but you totally derailed the conversation. But everyone laughed. She's like, yeah, but it took us so much time to get back to what this person was saying. And I'm like, oh, what else from your lovely wife of how many years have you been married?
Almost 13 this year.
13. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You are crushing it.
Yeah, okay.
Crushing it based on national averages. So well done. Well done. What's another area that your wife would say, I want Nick to really grow in this area?
I think the other thing is she'd always want me to be here and now when I'm there and focused on the family. And I think that's always a challenge sometimes, because you have a bad day at work or something like that, and all that, you're carrying all of that. So you have to, how can you be more present, and make sure you're there? Because my other big job is to make sure I'm a great dad to my kids and a good husband to my wife. And so that's something I'm always working on, trying to make sure that I can be as present as possible when I'm around them.
What do you do with your phone at home?
I try to turn it off or move it away from me, but then have you ever find that where you stand up and you just start looking for it? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's not, you're just doing it naturally.
I went through a kind of like a tech fast, and I had an entire week without a watch or a phone. I had no access to it.
Oh my.
And it took a few days. You had the whole phantom phone vibration in your pocket. I didn't even have a phone.
Yep.
I'm like, what is that? I'd hear sounds that I thought were dinging sounds.
Yep.
And I'm like, did you hear that? And it was just totally in my head. But it took a few days for me to come down from it. When I got my phone back, I had it for 24 hours without turning it on.
Wow, that's great.